Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Square Root Podcast, everybody. Episode 52. It's just us three losers talking and bullshitting about what's going on with the WWE and drama and our match coming up on February 9th, which people can see right here, where both these gentlemen are going to be wrestling, and I'm going to be hiding in the corner behind a TV camera.
Hiding in a corner.
Well, it's my
That's
corner.
not true. It's not a corner. It's a big open wall.
That's true, but still hiding.
Well, so we started talking about it off air, so we might also just continue. What's your guys' opinion on the whole Vince McMahon scheme?
Well, let me get over to this part here. I'll read it because I know you guys can't see it from your phone unless you're on your computer screen, Bobby.
Probably not.
As far as WrestleMania goes, Brock Lesnar was said to have a match and to come back. Unfortunately for him, he's tied into Vince McMahon's little fetishes and his little bullcrap that he's doing with just being an all-around scumbag.
I think Brock would get out of it, though.
Yeah, but what they're saying is he won't be back to WWE because he's guilt by association with Vince McMahon.
Right. I mean, he might not come back for a while, but for as being convicted of anything or going to jail like the internet is saying he is,
why would he go to jail? He didn't do anything.
Right, and that's exactly my point. A lot of the wrestling internet junkies, I've seen posted that Brock's going to go to jail because of the tie-ins with Vince. But everything that's at least everything that's come out so far, like he called her a bitch and he never seen her. He asked for a video, she did the video, and then he yelled at her basically, and then they kind of set up a date to meet, but something happened where they couldn't meet, so nothing happened. So
yeah, but you can't go to jail for calling a woman a name, or every man and woman would be in jail. Right, you can't go to jail for asking and then somebody willingly giving it to you. If she can prove, and if they can prove that Brock somehow knew that she was under duress and was forced to do it, that could be a civil thing, but I don't know if that would be something that would send him to jail.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as I'm thinking with the evidence that's out right now, I mean, they're saying that a whole bunch of other stuff is going to come out, but with the evidence that's come out right now, I would say he's in the clear. Yes, it does kind of put a bad rap on his name.
Now, just real quick, I have not done next to zero research on this. Is there any evidence, or is it still just accusations?
Well, as far as this morning, Dutch Mantel said he finds it hard to believe that Brock could actually come back to the WWE. Even though he didn't do anything, he's still a liability. I go, even though he didn't participate in it, he was invited to participate in it, but he didn't, which maybe if their schedules matched up, he would have. But woulda, coulda, shoulda isn't a legal premise to convict somebody of a crime.
Right.
So as far as now, there's nothing.
Yeah, so evidence-wise, she evidently has it on her cell phone that she sent him a message, and he sent her one back saying that he wanted a video of her peeing. Freak Brock there, but she sent it. Then he called her, like I said, he called her a bitch. And then later on, they were scheduled to have a meetup date, but some sort of freak snowstorm or something like that prevented him from even coming in. So nothing happened so far. I mean, from what I hear from the news, since McMahon used WWE's money to make all these NDAs, these people signed them. And since WWE's committee didn't know about it, that all those NDAs are now null and void. So everyone's got a chance to come out. So they're saying that a whole bunch of more information is going to come out eventually. But as of right now, there's nothing that really ties Brock to any bad situations. I will say never in wrestling. That's always a golden rule. And he is
there's
such
money to
a
be
money
made
man for UFC and a money man for WWE that I cannot say, 100% that they'll just keep him out. If the situation is right and we're 5 years, 10 years down the road and he still feels he can go, I bet you they'll bring him back.
Well, I mean, have you seen what he looks like now? He's not the old Brock.
Well, he's still a beast. I mean, he's still bigger
Yeah.
than a lot of people.
Well, he'd still suffocate us by laying on our face.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying. What do you think about a lot of people's not talking about John Laurinaitis, but he's tied up. Have you not heard anything about this, Bobby?
No, like I know that the girl accused him of some stuff, but I've heard of no evidence of anything actually illegal.
Well,
disgusting, yes.
Like
illegal
bad,
so far.
yeah,
Nothing.
disgusting and bad people, sure, but illegal. I've never heard nothing more than an accusation.
Well, supposedly she says that, like in the threesome part, she kept saying no, and McMahon was telling her that basically you no, it means yes because I'm the one that controls you and your situation. But that was
illegal. That's
three-way
right.
with.
Yeah, that's criminal on Vince.
But John Laurinaitis was supposedly that third man in that situation. And no one's really talking about that. I mean, I heard it a little bit today. Jim Cornette was talking about it because the Bellas came out and said, we stand by every woman has the rights to feel safe at the workplace. But yet John Laurinaitis is actually married to their mom. So technically he's their stepfather. So it's a little weird situation. And he's come out and said that he's blaming McMahon, that he felt that he was used in the situation, or he was what's the word I'm searching for? He's fallen victim as well because McMahon was his boss and he was doing what McMahon wanted, so he felt like he had to do it. So he's saying that he's a victim as well in this situation. But that's just
well,
like
I'm not
the same...
discounting a man being a victim. I just can't see John being in that situation, though.
Well, it's like one of those old sayings, a guy who cheats on his wife, and he comes up and says, "Oh, it was an accident," and you'll be like, "Oh, so you like stumbled and fell and boop, your dick went in her." It's that whole
3 times my son.
It's I don't know. To me, I mean, he can say what he wants, but he was doing it. So, I mean, if the evidence comes out that he was actually the third person, and it's come out that
he almost admitted to it by saying he was a victim as well.
Right.
So that's an admission of guilt. But anyway,
yeah,
they're just all gross. I agree with the Bella twins. Everybody, male or female, should have a right to feel safe in their workplace.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's a given. But it's just that they didn't say that they're on John's side or they're on the girl's side or what. And that's what makes the situation weird, because if they come out and say they're on John's side because he's their stepfather, well, then that throws out that whole mission statement that they just made, that every girl should feel safe. But if they come out for her, then that puts the whole family, dynamics
right now, they just need to follow their publicist's advice and just end it where they said it, and then not talk about it until actual evidence comes out.
Probably a very calculated statement.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there's some lawyers involved in that statement. But I swear, and this is not firsthand, but I swear that I heard stories about when the Bellas first came in that they were doing some crazy shit there as well. And I heard a story too that they were in not a swimming pool but a hot tub with John Laurinaitis, and they were all nude. And so to me, that's a little weird too. I mean, sure, he wasn't their stepfather at that point, but he was still a boss of theirs. I don't know. It's all hearsay right now. And
I
even
don't
the
know,
story
but
that I just said is hearsay because I don't know if anyone can prove it or not.
but even with you guys, you have to admit that during all that time up until recently, the casting couch setting was a thing for professional wrestling on that level, on that stage.
Well, it's well documented that a lot of the female wrestlers gets around with a lot of the male wrestlers there. John Cena, he dated a lot of the female wrestlers. CM Punk dated a lot of the female wrestlers.
And he's married to a female wrestler.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, even back in the olden days, they always said that wrestling, like in the WWE or even NWA and in WCW, it was like a man's club. It always was that way. And so who knows what this is going to spark with stuff coming out. I thought that Me Too movement where they start coming, all the girls start coming about the wrestlers. I thought that would have been something that would blew the doors open. But it affected a couple of guys, but not nowhere near what I expected.
Well, that's because the movement killed itself. They had too many false accusations come out that destroyed the whole movement.
And destroyed a lot of careers with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the movement killed itself. I mean, doesn't make it right. Just that's what happens, and it was life.
I mean, I'd be interested to see what else comes out. What females come forward now that they're saying that the stuff that they signed to keep it closed is now null and void.
Commingling of funds is illegal on the federal level, so anything signed that with commingling of funds and under duress is illegal.
Well, that's what they're saying too. That now that he's going to be looked up, Vince McMahon is being, searched by the federal government and not just like state or, not just lawyers being involved in a court case. Now
well, it's 2024. They started in 2020 investigating him on human trafficking charges. 4 years they've been investigating him and having charges.
Well, like I said, this is probably just going to open the floodgate, but.
Well, what do you think of his spot being taken by The Rock, and then The Rock doing his best Sony Black Adam impression and bumping somebody that not only, I think, Jim, didn't you say you got back into WWE because of the Cody Rhodes storyline? Yeah. And then him getting bumped. At the same time, Rock becomes the leading merchandise seller for WWE. And the whole purpose was, the whole thing was on the table from the very beginning for TKO.
So I don't know if, there's two separate things to talk about here. The Rock coming on board to the committee, which I think was a great thing. The Rock is the most seen wrestler that crossed over. Definitely bigger than Hulk, definitely bigger than Stone Cold when it comes to movies and everything. So bringing him aboard and enticing him in by giving him the rights to the name The Rock, I think that was probably a smart move. And technically, when this started coming out, Vince and The Rock were on the committee. So it's not like The Rock took Vince's spot, because technically he's in the TKO part. But
yes, I'm saying he took a board position in TKO, not just for WWE. So he has a control of UFC as well.
Now, when it comes to the whole Cody situation, you know, I don't know what rumors you want to listen to, because a lot of people say CM Punk was supposed to win that Rumble. But he knew he was hurt, and he knew that he wasn't going to be able to continue. So he came up with the ending that ended the Royal Rumble, in which made Cody win. Now, if you go off of that, and if CM Punk was going to win, Cody would have been left in the dust anyway, because The Rock was going to come in and challenge. I just lost his name.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah. And then CM Punk probably would have been going against Seth Rollins. I don't know. You can look at it like you got the hottest guy in entertainment coming into the WWE to have a match for like the hottest storyline in the last couple of years for the WWE, which is the Roman Empire. Right there, they've been talking about this match for years. So I get the reason why they did it. But at the same time, it's kind of like the whole Sami Zayn thing, too. They were trying to push Cody, but Sami Zayn was getting the people behind him as well. Maybe even more than what Cody had. And then, eventually they made him lose to Roman. But I was on another podcast a month ago, and I told them that Roman was not going to lose the belt until he superseded Hulk Hogan's title run. And they were like, no, there's no way, because the Roman needs to win for almost the whole part of this year. And I say, well, he only wrestles a handful of times, so why can't he continue to do that for towards the end of this year and beat Hogan? But they said, oh, you're just looking too much into it. But I tell you, Roman's got to beat The Rock, because having The Rock win the championship is not going to help The Rock out any. But if Roman beats The Rock, that means he is the actual head of the table. So, I mean, I think I am correct in that they're pushing Roman to beat Hulk Hogan's title run. It's one of those things where Hogan is in really good with WWE, and he might come back and do this and do that. And then other times they're like, Hogan who? And I really think that they want to push that where they can take that away from Hogan, that title run that he had. Either way, I think Cody was going to get screwed. And I think...
And I look at that different. I think it was on Curtis Wilde's post earlier today. I don't think he got screwed. Like, he can still go take the major title off of Seth Rollins to finish that storyline. They're both faces of the company. Both titles are.
Yeah, but that title that Seth has got has been made just because Roman doesn't want to work both shows.
It's still the face of Raw, which is supposed to be the bigger show.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And I'll throw in a twist for you both. And what I was thinking, also, we have a counterpart in Italy, Wrestling Live Italy, where I was talking to them. We were talking about WrestleMania 40, and I told them a week ago that The Rock and Roman Reigns would wrestle, and of course they were upset because they're Cody fans. But what if the whole thing is The Rock beats Roman, and then Cody comes in and beats The Rock?
Well, the whole thing with the Cody storyline was he wanted to main event WrestleMania, and he wanted to win the title that way. So right now, well, no.
Yeah, just with Seth Rollins. He won the Rumble, which means he gets to headline WrestleMania.
Well, he already turned down Seth Rollins, and now he's turned down.
Well, and before we started recording, we were talking about WrestleMania 9, where Hulk Hogan at that point had left, after WrestleMania 7, so nobody expected him to come back. But he came back with one of our favorite, Brutus, Beefcake, and lost in the tag match there. But after Bret Hart lost to Yokozuna, here comes Hogan to come in. 22 seconds, takes the title from him. Could be something like that.
Well, I mean, if you heard the behind the scenes about that, they were, it was like one of the first times they were going to venture overseas. And Hogan was able to talk into, Vince's ear about, can Bret really draw the numbers overseas that he could? And so the whole thing that like Hogan pitched was, let me win it from Yoko. We go overseas. I can draw all the people that we need to get the overseas money start rolling in. And then he would do the favor to Bret and let Bret beat him. But then, once he won the title, once Hogan won the title, he already knew he was going to be leaving the company. And so he didn't even give Bret the opportunity to get the belt off of him. So it was more of a Hogan manipulating the situation than, like Vince or anyone else like that doing it. I heard a great comparison about Bryan Daniels, that this is like the Triple H Batista thing, where they were trying to hold Bryan Daniels down, but the people were so behind him that they end up putting in this, Bryan had wrestled like twice that night. He beat Triple H that night, and then he had to go into a match where it was, I think, Randy Orton and Batista. And Batista, it came out that Batista was going to win that match, but the people were so behind Daniel Bryan that they ended up letting him win it, just to please the people, because they were so far behind on him. And they had fucked him over, like the pay-per-view before. It was a Rumble. He finally came back from the Rumble. I mean, to do the Rumble, and everyone wanted him to win it, because it was like, he's finally back from his concussions. Let's get behind him. They wanted him to win, and he was like in the 13s or the 15s person that was eliminated from the Rumble. And a lot of people stopped watching the Rumble after that because their dream guy lost it. But then they made it back up. So, like to say, history always repeats itself.
Well, Cody Rhodes, didn't he have a grassroots push before to get a title shot?
No. He had a grassroots push from working all the organizations that he did for the independents, because he's the one that decided he was leaving WWE, and then he worked like every single independent that would book him, and then he started, AEW basically with, that group of people, the Young Bucks and Omega and all of them, with of course Tony Khan coming in being the backer. So I mean, he did start a revolution by building another company that was going to pretty much go to war with WWE. Which then it was so shocking that he left something that he helped create to come back to WWE to do this story. And I think that's why people are behind him, because, he left being a mid-carder, did all these independents, got well known, got known as being a creator of AEW, and then him leaving because he always wanted to be the WWE champion, something that his dad never was. Even at that, who says that your story has to be done in a year or 2 years or 3 years? So his story can go on until, not this WrestleMania, but the following WrestleMania.
Well, The Rock and Triple H both said his story doesn't end at this one, that they're playing the long game with Cody.
Yeah. But the only thing that I think will suck is if people will get tired of waiting. People want. I mean, we know this too. Just being from the podcast world, people want a lot of information in a small amount of time. And it's just like his story. They want his story to finish. Then they'll be happy and move on to something else. But they want it. So if they drag this out too long, it might.
I know, Bobby, you're still. Yeah, Bobby, you're still good on my end. I can still see and hear you. You're not frozen.
You kick back. Every once in a while, you guys freeze up just for a quick second.
Yeah, okay.
So it all depends. Who knows? Because the rumors today that Triple H might be out the door pretty soon. Because there's rumors going around that anyone who's dealt with Vince McMahon in a long period, that they think that he's a Vince McMahon person, and they're trying to cut ties with all the Vince McMahon people. So, Bruce Pritchard, Triple H, I'm sure there's a lot of people behind the scenes that no one really knows that, might be getting cut soon.
Well, I could see Bruce being out because he's just Vince McMahon clone. But Triple H is his own man, though. He did a lot of things contrary to what Vince wanted.
And true. And I really like what Triple H has been doing. Like I said, that's the reason why I started watching it. And I'm still not a diehard person who watches it. Otherwise, as we're recording this, Monday Night Raw is happening in our hometown. In our big city, St. Louis. And we're not there. So, I mean, we're not diehard fans. But, I keep tabs on this story with Cody just because it's a great story. But I think what they did wrong is they had too many stories intertwining. They had, like I said, the Sami Zayn story was intertwining. Now the Rock story with Roman Reigns is intertwining. CM Punk was intertwining with it all too. So they had too many stories running together. If they would have just kept them separated, it probably would have pleased everyone.
Can you really please anybody, though? People suck.
I'm still all right with Cody just winning the other title.
You're a WCW fan. You coming around?
Well, WCW's not on the air anymore, so gotta watch something.
We figured Cody Rhodes already won the same title that his old man won. His Dusty was the NWA champion. Cody was an NWA champion. So if you think about it, his story should have been already done because he did what his dad did. Now, granted, his dad did it twice.
I say now his jealousy, he wants to surpass his dad.
Yeah. I mean, Dusty Rhodes was in and out of WWF/WWE. So, I mean, there was more times that he was in and out of that place. So, like I said, Cody's doesn't have to end at this WrestleMania or next WrestleMania. It can go on. I just hope it doesn't go on too long because, like I said, I think everyone will get tired of it.
We all have goldfish TikTok brain now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everyone wants everything happening right then and now. And that's why a 3-hour podcast doesn't get watched. If you could have 30 seconds or 60 seconds of your podcast done on a TikTok for a short or a YouTube for a short, it gets more views than your podcast does.
I'm putting some shorts together with Searcher.
Oh, yeah?
Mixing in some Gladiator stuff or stuff that he sold. I think it's funny, but I have a gallows humor anyway, so.
To your point, I'll watch Seth Rogen clips on TikTok all the time. never once have sat down and listened to his podcast.
Oh. See, I mean, I listen to anytime he's on. I check him every night, and I actually use that to go to sleep. Not that it's a bad thing, but I'll watch and listen to him, and then I doze off, an hour in, because most of his podcasts are 2 hours, 3 hours. And then the next night, where I think I fell asleep on, I'll start watching that part. So I'll get like 2 nights or 3 nights out of one episode. But
see, I just fall asleep. So I had the Alexa play 80s hair bands and put that on a 15-minute timer, and I'm good.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, let's segue to what's coming up on Friday, February 9th.
Well, so the cool thing about this Friday, one, it's a Friday show. It's not a Saturday show. So everyone who's watching and listening, be prepared for that. It's this Friday and not this Saturday. So come out
Still
this Friday
clock,
to the Belclair Fairgrounds. Doors same time. Doors open at 6, starts at 7. The main event that night will be Peyton Ayers versus Nate for the SICW Classic title. Peyton's just 2 times the size as Nate, but Nate's got that dog in him, and
He's only 2 times the size.
I would say 10 times the size. I have a skinny waist. That boy does.
Well, so it's actually going to be a great show. I heard some of the matches. Well, Bobby, you got a rematch. I mean, that's going to be a great match with Fender.
Get my title back.
Yeah. I mean, that would be great because we're missing that decorative piece in the background.
I know.
I got to ask you, last time I saw you, I didn't ask you, what did you do to Frank's trophy? It's all cockeyed. It's not straight.
That was when Vincent stole it. After I won it, he hit it on the ropes, and it bent. And I bent it back a little bit, and it just seems to get worse and worse.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if anybody, local, has picked up that trophy. That thing is not light, though.
No, it's not. And that's why when I won it, I never carried it around like a lot of people did. Like Curtis Wild, he took it to Vegas and took it everywhere. Bobby's been doing the same. He takes it everywhere. No, thank you. I mean, I'm proud that I won it. I displayed it in my front room. I took it to the shows. But it's kind of crazy to carry that thing around because it is so big, so heavy. You take it to Vegas, that's another not carry on. That's another check-in luggage thing that you charge $50 for. So
yeah, that's too heavy to be a carry on.
Right.
Well, I'm going to Mid-States in Arkansas in 2 weeks. I think I'll go ahead and take it down there.
Yeah.
Well, I know when you handed that to me with one hand, I assumed it was going to be like every other trophy I had, and the thing was light as hell.
Not the case.
It surprised me. It's not light. I didn't drop it, but I was surprised because you didn't think you did that on purpose. Here, hold this. Didn't tell me it was 50 pounds.
Yeah,
so a lot of people ask me if they can hold it, and I'm like, use 2 hands. It's heavy.
So we got that awesome match. We got it's like the top 3 matches. I think it's going to be all return matches. So you got Bobby versus Fender. You got the Top Guns versus the LA Hustlers one more time.
No DQ.
Yeah, no DQ because the first time the Hustlers cheated, and then Brandon broke down and used a weapon the last time. So this one's going to come down to a no DQ for the titles.
But quick question, though. Is that no DQ plus falls count everywhere? Can they be pinned out of the ring, or is it center ring pin still?
That's 2 different stipulations.
I imagine it's still going to be pinned in the ring. Because normally Herb is pretty good at, throwing that out there if it is, pin counts anywhere. So, so that's a return match. Then my match with Peyton, that's going to be a return match because, we had a little conflicting at the end of our match, whether Peyton got his foot on the rope and Nick didn't see it, or I got the pin clean, but so that's a return match. Plus, we got Danny Boy as a special referee for that match too. So it should be down, just like that cage match. It should be down the line. We had Danny on here, and I forgot to pay him, so I don't know.
I'm trying to pull it up because Herb's had a lot of posts lately. But I know if you watched that A-Team News thing there.
Oh, with Vincent and Glenn Williams?
Yeah, Glenn said he is going against the Spanish Storm.
Bryce.
And Sean Vincent's going against Night Train Gary Jackson.
Wow. They've had a lot of matches together too, so that should be a very good one.
Glad to see Bryce going to go back out, but I hope he does his aerials and his attempt to break his neck didn't scare him off.
I was a little worried for him after that.
Right. But as you've seen on the last TV episode, he did have, he's back at wrestling. I don't think he did that move on the TV show, but, hopefully he gets out of his head and he's able to go back to his roots and do everything that he was doing. That's the worst thing is when you can get in your own head and be nervous about doing a particular move. Especially that, I think, has been his finisher since he debuted.
Every single match we have, because ever since he debuted, we have it recorded through us. He's done it every single time.
Yeah.
That's like Lesnar with that shooting star press. They said he nailed that like 40 times before that WrestleMania. He messed that one up. But he did go back out when he went to Japan for a little while and started hitting it again out there.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
So another match, I can't remember all the moving parts in it, but Axe is coming back.
Gil. Was it Axe and Gil?
No, I think it's a tag match, actually. Man.
I thought I remember.
It could be a singles match. It could be just Gil and Axe. But I swear Joe Helms
I thought
involved.
I thought it was that because I got pretty excited for it.
Yeah, well, I want to say Joe Helms is involved. I want to say it's Gil Rogers and Joe Helms versus Axe and someone else. Hopefully we can do some research on that. But, yeah, so the return of Axe, he'll be back. The return of Gil Rogers. And a long-time return, Bull Bronson is going to be at this show. Now, Bull, he, I don't know if it was the last time he came through, but he's always been this big, heelish monster. So it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I think I'm going to actually watch my back just to make sure he doesn't come after me during my match.
It wasn't the last time he came through. The last time he came through is actually what turned me face. Is they teamed us up.
But, Bull has been off and on. He'll do some wrestling shows, and then he'll disappear off the radar, and then he'll come back. So you never know what to expect from Bull.
The tag match with Joe Helms is Joe Helms and Curtis Wilde versus Kowalski and Attila.
Oh, my God, yes, damn. So you're correct. Heavyweight. So it's probably Gil Rogers versus Axe, which is going to be a great match. I mean, the whole card is going to be great, damn. And then Attila.
I hope Andy reinforces that ring for that one.
Wow.
Watch out, front row.
I think Joe can throw if he needs to. I think Joe can throw Kowalski if he needs to.
Yeah. I kind of feel sorry for Curtis. He seems to be the odd man out in that situation. You got three big guys, and then you got Curtis,
yeah, but he's probably more cunning than the others.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Attila's pretty cunning.
No, that's more devious.
Yeah. So shit.
I don't know. He used a spike, then a fork. Next, it's going to be a spork, so he can scoop and poke.
every match could be the main event, so I don't even know if I'm going to be the main event that night. To be honest, anytime you got Attila on the card, he could be the main event anytime. Gil Rogers, he's a great guy too, and I know he's held a lot of championship golds around the independent scene. Axe, I know he was a former champion for another organization. So it's going to be a loaded card, basically. I would recommend, guys, if you haven't got your tickets, a lot of the wrestlers have still got them that you can, ask a wrestler. They can sell them to you. They'll never turn away anyone at the door either. So if you don't find a way to get your tickets in advance, definitely go to the show and buy them at the door. So like I said, it's a different day. It's a Friday night show. But everything else is the same. Doors open at 6, show starts at 7. Now the other thing that makes a difference is most of the time when it's a Saturday show, Sunday afternoon, you can bring your ticket stub to East Carondelet and get in for the TV shows for free. So this time the TV shows are going to be on Saturday. So if you take Friday's ticket stubs and go to East Carondelet at noon on Saturday, you'll be able to get in and watch the TV shows for free. And that's 4 more hours of wrestling, and it's free. So, I mean, you can't beat that. Plus, you get to be on TV, So, all a lot of benefits. Plus, if the food there is kind of went up. They got some sloppy joes there now, and the sloppy joes are incredible.
Call me when there's a taco bar.
Well, you've never been to a TV show yet, Nate. So I tell you, the sloppy joes are great. So, but yeah, man. So the whole weekend is going to be stacked. It's going to be an awesome show Friday, and then the TV shows on Saturday. That means we can actually sleep in and rest on a Sunday. That would be kind of nice.
No,
and then
I'm coaching a wrestling tournament Sunday before the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl's this Sunday?
Yeah. That's why we moved it.
That's why it was moved to Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, but I'm going out to Troy to coach a wrestling tournament. Get up about 5 a.m.
Wow.
And we have the Searcher again on Monday, and then Danny Boy the following Monday.
Yep. So we're going to hit Searcher up one more time before his big card, which is February 17th. Of course, we videotape on Mondays, but we normally put them out on Thursday or sometimes Friday. So we're talking about
probably mention the passing of who Searcher had mentioned being friends with too, that just happened.
Well, not even that. Friends with Searcher. I mean, he was my first promoter that put me on a card. Your first promoter to put you on the card. Regardless what we say about Frank Reed, he gave us our first shots in the business. Now, granted, we went other places. We talked about South Broadway's experience. I hit South Broadway up twice before I was able to go to an RCW, Rampage Championship Wrestling. A lot of people always talk about how Sam Mushnick was a great payoff guy. Well, I'm just going to be honest. Reed wasn't a great payoff guy. However, the amount of people that he let wrestle, and a lot of times when you're just starting out, I would say the first couple times you don't care about pay. You want to just be able to go out to a place, wrestle, show what you got, get the experience behind you, show other people what you can do so you can get booked everywhere else. So sometimes it doesn't matter about pay, and a lot of people don't care. After you've been in the business a while, then you realize how much of an impact every show has on you personally, whether it be injuries piling up or the drives to the show where you really need some money for doing this. And Frank Reed, just be honest, he wasn't a great payoff guy. However, he gave the starts to a lot of people. Even Kane started at a Frank Reed show. And that was before he went down to Memphis, Tennessee, or before he went to Jim Cornette's wrestling show that he had going on. So we're gonna miss him. The last couple of years he was on what's it called?
Dialysis.
I think once or twice a week. But Searcher still had him coming out to the shows and still having him do play-by-play, which is great. He's a great play-by-play guy. And I tell you, when I got announced that I was going into one of the Hall of Fames, he was the one that announced it to the audience the first time. And after my match, he come up and told me how much I deserved it and everything. So that that means a lot. And I can't say enough great things about him being the first one that would give me the opportunity to be on a show. So yeah, Frank Reed, we're gonna miss you. He was just another one of the boys that we lost too soon. Especially since I heard he was actually going to start, promoting RCW again and get that up and running again. But, his health declined pretty quick. But yeah, so sad news on that part. Way to end the show. No. No.
And it is truncated tonight, guys, because Bobby is sick because he has a couple of super spreaders at home.
Actually, I brought this home to them.
Oh, opposite
my
day.
whole work is like 3/4 of my department has been missing the past week and a half.
Oh, wow.
Well, I should say they're either missing or they look like death.
Now, is it just that really bad cold that's going around, or did you get COVID?
I don't know. I don't get tested. They treat it the same way as they do a cold, so.
That they do. So let's turn this around. Let's find some what's going on in your world that's in the happy, positive light.
So yeah,
just got back from Chicago. Went to Navy Pier for the first time.
You got back from Chicago because of what?
We were up there for a wrestling tournament. Went to Navy Pier for the first time. It's pretty cool.
Well, that's cool. At the Navy Pier, was it cold, windy, and all that?
Yes, it was. But it's still cool.
Could this be why you got your cold?
No, it's probably because I spent 6 of the 8 hours of work in a truck, like sitting next to a guy that had to call off the next day because he was so sick.
Nice.
That could have something to do with it.
A little bit.
That was just one of the days last week.
So did the whole family get to go up to Chicago, or just you and one of the boys?
I took all 3 boys. Ashley had a volleyball tournament to coach.
Oh. Well, that's so cool. I mean, it's a little hectic on you having all 3 boys, especially when you're the coach of what, did 2 of them wrestle or just one?
No, just Landon wrestled up there, but I was so sick, I took them down to the pool and slept in one of the chairs while they swam around that night.
Oh, my God. You can't say that. That's
I couldn't stay away for nothing.
Wow.
Oh, no, you left some teen boys to do their own thing. The pitchforks are going to be out for you, Bubby.
No, it gets worse than that. It was the 8-year-old and the 10-year-old or 11-year-old.
Oh, yep, even worse.
I was in the same room as them.
And there torches and pitchforks now.
There was other parents and stuff in there. I just slept.
No.
Are you kidding? When we were young, they told us to walk to school alone.
I did it.
Up and down hill in the snow.
I remember when I was in 2nd grade, I had to get escorted home by the cops from school. Because my brother tripped me. He tripped me when we were walking home, and I busted my face open. The cop was running by.
Well, all right. On a great note for me. No, I mean, nothing really special. Going on a fig hunt. Right now they got Andre the Giant, one of his figures out, and most of the time he's all dressed in yellow for this figure, but they have what they call a chase, and what they do is they change out the outfit, and the chase was in red, and so I was able to snag a red one, which is great because not to compare prices, but Target had them for $21.99. And then if you scan it, I don't know if you guys do eBay or anything like that. On eBay, it's already going for $59.99. Not that I would sell mine, but just to buy something and to turn around, it's already worth $30 more than what you paid for it. That's kind of cool.
Hulk Hogan red. Huh?
No, Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant red.
Jim.
I'm not gonna lie though. When you said you went on a fig hunt, my mind immediately went to Fig Newtons.
Mine too.
Wow.
Nate said him
Food.
too. That was me.
Yep, me too. I was thinking Fig Newtons. Yeah, because I want some now too.
No. If you get on YouTube, Matt Cardona, his sidekick, was it Hawkins? They always go on fig hunts. Whatever town that they happen to be in, they'll hit up whatever toy store that they can go to, whether it be a collector's corner type of toy store or like a Target or something, and they'll search for rarities when it comes to figures. Besides that, I finally got a couple add-ons to my LJNs. I got Macho Man and Elizabeth. Never had Elizabeth before. She was always rare for me to find and capture, so I got her. And then I actually won. I haven't got them yet, and I'll show them off when they come. But the LJNs, when they came in the package, they also came with a poster inside. It's a good sized poster. And doing my eBay thing, I found this guy who was selling, I think it was like a total of 20 of these posters, which the main reason I got them is with our Mayfest show that's coming up, some of these guys are going to be there. And so you got, these posters are from like 83 and 84. So it's going to be great for me to kind of go around and get some of these autographed. One of them is going to be a given because Bob Orton had a LJN figure. So I got his poster of that too. So, of course, that'll be easy since I see him every week. We can just get him to sign that. But then I'm going to frame him, and eventually I'm going to, whenever one of these boys leaves my house, I'm going to create an office. And, the funny thing is, and a horrible thing, the wife has got this new dog, a little ankle biter, and it likes to jump on top of the tables or the desk. And for the longest time, I had a lot of action figures on the desk that I would find pieces of it laying around the house now. So I put everything up, but not before that damn dog chewed up my own wrestling figure.
Chewed up the Texan.
Chewed up the Texan. And it kind of pissed me. I mean, I was probably fuming at this freaking dog for a couple days. But, then reality strikes in, and it's just a dog. He doesn't know. Well, she doesn't know. And she happens to be a cute little damn thing. So she weasels her way back into your heart. But I could have drop kicked that fucking dog out of my front door when I found half of me chewed up.
She could be cute at someone else's house.
Huh?
She could be cute at someone else's house.
Right. Damn right.
You can't even get another one of those, can you?
I don't know if I can or not. And that was the old style Texan. That was the black on the camo. So I don't know. I might reach out to the guy who actually made it and see if he can't make another one. But it'll be kind of cool to get the new version of the Texan too. Get an
Yeah, you
old
need
and
the old one
updated
and the new
version.
one, though.
But
I do have a figure question for you, Jim. Did they ever do an Ultimate Andre figure?
Oh yeah, I mean that's basically what this is.
No, I meant where he's painted up like the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh no, I don't think they've ever done that.
Because I wanted to buy the picture from Chris, who does the Andre the Giant thing that's coming in May. So come get some of his stuff. But he hasn't sent it yet. So.
Well, what was his name when he was it the Machines when he wore a mask? Bobby, do you know? It's like
I thought it was something like that.
The Giant Machine, and then yeah. So there is a figure out there of Andre in a mask. I think that would be kind of cool. There's there's two figures I would love to get from Andre. The Princess Bride earlier this year came out with a line of figures, and Andre was in the Princess Bride, and that figure looks really cool. I almost bought it, but I don't know, something came up. But and then Andre was also in what was the name of that TV show? $1 Million Man or $5 Million Man?
$6 Million Man.
$6 Million Man. Eventually, I would have got high enough. But where he played like Bigfoot, and they have a Bigfoot version of Andre the Giant, and I've actually seen that one. We're at one of Searcher's wrestling shows, and someone had just bought it and brought it in to kind of show it off, and that figure looked pretty cool. But
yeah, there's the Andre the Giant figure from the Princess Bride.
Yes, I mean that looks pretty cool. I wouldn't mind getting one of those.
GameStop and Walmart.
Oh, maybe I'll hit up GameStop. Most of the stuff there is normally pretty cheap now. And they're just trying to hang on. But
just don't go to the Danbury Mint one. Holy crap, $300 for that one? No thanks.
Well, you'd be surprised, even on eBay, man. I was there was a King Macho Man in the Hasbro line, 4-inch figure, but it was still in the package. And when it hits eBay, there's always a starting bid, and it started off at like 15. And I was winning it for a while. I moved up to 20, 25, 30. And then after I got passed up at 30, I quit bidding on it. Well, it sold today for $327. So I mean, these figures are crazy, and it kind of pisses me off because I sold off my original collection and never even got all the money for it. I only got half of it up front, which is probably my stupidity, knowing who I was dealing with. So now it's costing me a little bit more to recreate the collection I had, because these figures, even though they're old and used and most of the paint's rubbed off, they're still going, $50, $60, $70. Every now and then I can kind of grab one for $10 here or $15, but that's hoping that no one else is paying attention to that particular auction, But
the economic downturn, you might have a shot. Less disposable income.
Well, we'll see. I heard I was watching the news the other night, and a lot of people getting evicted now. So that's kind of sucks for the people all over. But that's the one thing with that. I knew, going through that whole COVID stuff, that these people, you had to make sure that you paid your house payment, man. Your rent, your mortgage, and some people were just taking advantage. They still had jobs, but they're buying new cars or buying shit for their house and not paying their mortgage payment. Well, now it's catching up to them. It was all over the news. It was like 2 days ago about how a lot of people are starting to get that eviction notice, and they've waited so long that they can't get a lawyer to get them out of it. So it might be bad timings for a lot of people.
Well, and you have to look at the fact that the only lifelines these people are going to have out there are the like Blackstone that are going in and buying, forcing these evictions, but also turning around and offering the lifeline saying, "We'll buy it, we'll let you live there as long as you pay rent." So that's what Blackstone's going in and doing.
Yeah, but even at that, good for them if they can get that offer. But it's just a shame, people were just using that time period. And, people that worked, because I was one of those people that worked through COVID.
We all did.
Yeah,
all three of us did.
Those people that took advantage of the system, it's finally, I almost don't feel sorry, but I feel sorry, especially if they have kids, because kids getting, kicked out of the home due to their parents, shit. But
well, it's kind of like when all the floods went through, and you and I were talking about it with the FEMA money. With, okay, yeah, we'll give you money for your house, but you're going to have to leave it. You can never return.
right.
But then it was their fault for building the house or buying a house in a flood zone in the first place. So you kind of feel bad and you kind of don't. And then some people live there for 50 years. Now they have to leave because you're going to bulldoze their house because you can't get the permits to build there now.
Hey, not to stay on the same subject, but do you hear about California, how they're dealing with the flood right now, too?
Not too well.
Well, yeah, they're not dealing with it too well, but, California is all. Normally you hear about all the forest fires going on in California, but
moist now.
yeah, now they're being flooded out, and hell, the world is going crazy because even Hawaii had snow this time around. So the world is getting flipped upside down here. So it's kind of crazy.
Well, Hawaii always gets snow, just not enough for it to stick. But this time it was 2 feet of snow and sticky, and that's extremely unusual for there.
It's all that global warming.
I was watching. No, that gets too personal. I don't want people to know too much about me. I was going to say I was watching, but no. Yeah. So people, May 17th, right? FanFest.
17th and 18th.
17th and 18th coming up. Tugboat. We all knew he was going to come anyway. He's not on this poster, but he's been announced. So he's coming back. Good, nice dude.
If you get on the socials, if you get under Herb Simmons' Facebook account, he did a nice little promo for the show. So that was kind of cool. We might tag that on the end of this thing or something because he was there at the last time around, and he was a great guy to talk to. So it'd be great for him to come back. And I tell you,
he was sitting across from us, so
right.
Yeah, the table across from you and Bobby. And if you guys want to see all that, go to our Patreon page. It's the only place that you're going to find it, including through SICW or Wrestling at the Chase. You won't find it there until Herb asks for it. But go to patreon.com/the squared ring. $10 a month. We're going to use it for, just to be honest, Gentleman Jack.
All right.
White Russians, wrestling figures, and to upgrade the program.
Yeah, upgrading the program and getting some legends on, because we talked about it before that Legends never had a retirement program. So anything that that they're doing nowadays, most of the time they ask for a little something to get on a podcast or get on a TV commercial or get on like a fan fest. So anything that we will get in, we'll use that to try to get a legend on or a superstar on and see what we can go with that. So anything, if you guys want to, even if you want to donate, you can always donate to the channel as well. Either by, seeing one of us at a live show, a live event, and donating that way, or becoming a Patreon person that, donates that way. That'd be great.
And also, I don't know if Herb or you want to say it, but I'll say it just because, I can't get any more backlash on anything. We are looking into going live. I know people ask about it. And Herb Simmons, the TV studio that he does use to do the live TV shows, he's offered it to us. So we're going to be looking into that. So look forward to us starting that soon. But that's also going to be part of what the money's going to go for, is upgrading our portion to do that, to start doing the live broadcast, to bring in legends to do it live. So you guys can ask live questions.
Everything's looking up in the world of the Square Ring podcast.
Yeah, so, and looking up to the point where we are making good contacts overseas. Wrestling Live Italy. They're a great podcast. Go and, if you know Italian, go and listen to it. If not, what are you doing? Get over there. No. Learn it. Listen. They're a good group of guys. They listen to our podcast. They speak some English, not much, so learn some Italian before you go over there. But check out their Instagram page also. And they're good fans of ours, and, I'm a fan of theirs. I'll teach you guys to speak Italian, and then you could be fans too.
There we go.
But we are spreading our reach. We do have UK, Ireland, Italy, some Arab countries, and then more languages we speak, we'll make contact.
Right. And, me and Herb has been doing a couple podcasts. It seems like it's a week. And I'm sure it's going to rev up going towards this Mayfest, Fan Fest. Last week it was a podcast out of Virginia. Then we had Carr on ours, who's out of Tennessee. It's definitely going around. Herb posted a picture that was sent to him. It was, I want to say it was an AEW show. No, it was a WWF show in Tennessee over the weekend. And off the TV, one of the fans took a picture of their TV and sent it to Herb, because on the TV side was a guy wearing a SICW hoodie.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah. So, the reach is out there. If you don't believe it, just, it's crazy.
Yeah, we are making contacts. And plus, people always ask, since we know so many legends, how come we don't bring them on? And you already answered that question, is we want to make sure to give them the money they ask for, because there is no retirement. For me, the good thing about having both you and Bobby on is when it comes to doing another podcast, people only want to talk to you, so I don't have to worry about it.
Oh, I don't know. Wrestling with Heart, I think he wanted eventually all of us to go on his.
No, he only talked about you and Bobby.
And Bobby didn't even do his. It was just me and you.
Yeah, but he didn't talk about me. He was talking about you, Herb, and Bobby. He wasn't talking about me. What am I going to get up there and say?
You're going to say
I wrestled way back when and I lost?
No, you're going to go up there and say how much you love watching the Big Texan and Bobby D wrestle every Saturday night. Yeah.
Well, I can get up there and pimp you out, like pimping you two out to do a show with the Lumberjacks. Or a series of shows.
Oh, I know. We haven't even set up a date for that. Bobby still has all his kids in wrestling, so that might take away from that. Plus, we got everything coming up. CAC's coming up. Iowa's coming up. I don't know if you're planning on going to Iowa this year, but man, so much stuff is happening. Our literally it's Mayfest. And then July, it's either June or July, is Iowa. And then right after that is CAC. plus all the local shows that I've already been attached to that I got to do. I was going through my my date book and seeing everything. I was like, God damn. Because there's a couple shows for New Breed that I was given dates for. So I got to try to fill some of those dates. And then the Arkansas one that Bobby gets to go to, is it this month you're going down?
17th.
17th.
Do you know who you're wrestling in Arkansas?
It don't matter. I'll beat them.
That's the great thing. As a wrestler, you want to wrestle people that you haven't, because it improves yourself.
Good. Well, at least you're not wrestling your brother, Bobby. No.
Well, we already know his brother can win because he tripped him and busted open his face.
I was talking about
be able to until I learned how to wrestle. And he's
that's good,
anyway.
but I was talking about you, Jim.
Oh, I don't know. Like I said, there's a bunch of dates that got thrown my way, so I gotta kind of figure
about Bobby
out.
wrestling you in Arkansas.
Oh, no.
It was a multi-layered joke that didn't go well.
No, it didn't, because you said brother. We're brother-in-laws. Yeah,
but
no,
people don't
I was
listen
already
to me.
Committed to ACW show on the 17th, so I can't make it out to that one. But yeah, so it's just a lot of dates this year, and I'm trying to see if I can't hit every organization that's throwing them at me, at least once, because it seems like a lot of people setting us up, which is great.
And I'm still trying to get you and Bobby into at least wrestle once or twice into James Beard's new Texas style wrestling down there.
So you got that one, and then you got an organization up north, I think it was in New Jersey, that reached out to Herb and wants us to do a little crossbreed. So I mean, it's like wrestling is on fire right now, and I think everyone's trying to take advantage of it, which is great because I myself want to take advantage of it. I'm sure Bobby wants to take advantage of it, and us as a podcast wants to take advantage of it. So
it kind of makes you wonder with all the McMahon stuff, if there's going to be kind of a vacuum. Like I know he's not running WWE, but still a big name behind it.
Well, I do know when McMahon was doing his thing, still everything I did online that had anything to do with WWE, they were being pricks. Now that he's gone, I haven't heard from him at all.
Well, I tell you, the next pay-per-view is going to kind of foreshadow what's going to go on, because the Royal Rumble, they've already announced, was like their highest pay-per-view other than a WrestleMania. This Royal Rumble, everyone tuned in. Whether they tuned in for the wrong reason to see if something was going to happen with Vince McMahon prior to, or the storylines that they got going on right now, this one was one of the highest pay-per-views they ever had outside of a WrestleMania. So this was an Elimination Chamber is going to be the next one, I think. So that pay-per-view will kind of show if the Vince McMahon stories hurt the WWE, or if it didn't even matter. I think it's really going to show. Plus, it's the pay-per-view leading up to WrestleMania, so I think it's going to show it.
Up until WrestleMania 40, I would expect people to see an awful lot of media coming out to try and smooth over the Cody Rhodes fans that are throwing a fit because The Rock's page, just for everything he puts out, is getting hundreds of thousands of dislikes.
Well, I think as of this morning, it was like 300 dislikes trending on Twitter or X, and then only it was like 200,000 hashtags finish the story Cody, and then like 300,000 dislikes of Rock and Reigns. So it'd be interesting to see if Triple H, goes back on his word or throws Cody into the mix somehow or whatever. But
no, he's got to do something because I know in wrestling now, not all publicity is good publicity, especially with Vince with his little piece of crap pencil mustache he has.
Well,
He needs to wipe that dirt off.
I'll tell you what Eric Bischoff would say at this moment. Now, Eric has already come out and said how much, if this is true, how bad that is, and you can go to his podcast and listen to his. But I'll tell you one thing that he always says is controversy creates cash.
Name of his book that's in the room in there.
Yeah. So, a lot of people was talking about McMahon in the story, and that could have been a lot of reasons why they were tuning in to see if they were going to talk about it, because this after the pay-per-view they always do that media blitz, and a lot of people actually stayed and tuned into that to see if they would, and a lot. I think there was 3 questions tossed up about that. One to Cody and a couple to Triple H, and they kind of bypass, the answers.
You got to sidestep the landmine.
Right. But that's why they were tuning in. Now, they didn't get the answer that they wanted, but they still tuned in to see if they would. So, really in wrestling, controversy creates cash.
In tissue paper days, some controversy can siphon it.
Well, we'll see this next pay-per-view, see how many buy rates they get. And, we haven't even
sure
talked
going to be large.
Raw going to Netflix next year. That's crazy. It's the longest running TV program, and now it's going to a place where you have to buy a subscription to see it.
There's so many people that have cut the cable cord, though. Like, there's less people with cable than without. So I get it.
Well, look what's happening just NFL, for the Super Bowl.
Amazon, they had the rights to all Thursday night games.
Yeah, and with the Super Bowl, people on the East Coast may not be able to watch it because Comcast can't come to an agreement with Fox Sports.
It's going to be interesting. I predict that eventually SmackDown will get the benefit of that. I think SmackDown being on free, people will be able to watch it for free. I think SmackDown's ratings will start going through the roof next year, which might be better for the WWE because they got an iconic brand going to Netflix that people are going to follow to Netflix. But I think it's also for people who don't have a Netflix, I think it's going to beef up SmackDown's views. So it might be a good thing for both. Regardless, I got Netflix either way, so it doesn't really bother
here's
me.
a question. Here's a question for both of you. Do you think that viewership would increase more if they closed the curtain, per se? Because the last few years, they opened that curtain wide up and showed everybody everything.
It's too open. It's too open. They can never close it.
That's it. You can't close it, but yes, I think it would have.
Yeah. You have all those TV shows that they already done, like was it Mr. and Mrs. I got the title wrong, but it's the Miz TV show where it's all behind the scenes, and you got like 6 divas, or even the TV show Divas. You had 6 or 7 of them roaming around, being friendly and going shopping and all this stuff. But on TV, they'll be like mortal enemies. Now they got a new show with Bianca Belair and her husband, who's also a wrestler. I can't think of his name, but
I can picture him. I can't think of it either.
Was it Street Profits? And they got I don't know his name, but he's in the Street Profits. So they got their own show that just started up. and it's on the network. And of course, it goes behind the scenes, so the curtain is just too open to close it. And some guy that I follow, which I bring up his name a lot, Matt Cardona.
Montez
Ford. Even Matt Cardona, he wrestled Maven at one of the shows here last couple months. Well, if you go on YouTube, it shows the whole from the beginning when they were putting the ring up and getting the seats out, and him and Maven talking to the match, to after the match, where they're all hugging and asking each other if the match was great. So the curtain is wide open, and it's too far going to close it. I bet you it can be done, but it'll take the right organization to do it. And it's got to be legitimized, which would be like almost a bloodbath type of a situation. So I don't know, but I think it could be done. Maybe this Texas style. I mean, SICW is closed that curtain as much as it can, but this Texas organization that James Beard talks about with a Texas style, that's a hard style. So maybe they can get it done too.
I don't know. They need the St. Louis Brutes, and that's you guys. So,
well, I tell you, if you watch, as much as I like the NWA, if you watch a lot of their shows, AEW, they're very bad at it. And I watched a couple WWE shows here within the last few weeks, and you're watching these shows and you're watching these hits. The wrestling moves look great. A tag team that I actually like right now, DIY. They're on Raw. A great group. But if they go to actually hit you, it looks like shit. They do that little fast hit. Horrible.
What is it, Wing Chun?
But the actual wrestling moves, I think it's the best tag team on Raw right now when it comes to wrestling. And their forearms and their kicks look great, but I tell you, they need to work. They still need to work on things. But that's the WWE style, so they don't have to work on them.
Yeah, but you can't bring a martial art like Wing Chun where you're doing fast core body hits. And
Undertaker used to do that too, and you knew his hits weren't that great either, but it was the Undertaker, so he got away with it. But all right. I think we spoke our piece for this week.
Yep.
Recap. Please, but not even a recap. If you like what we do here, and a lot of people seem to do, because we're getting reports out, fans are emailing us, but we would still love your support. So please share this, like it, comment. Let us know how we're doing. Again, let us know if you hate us. I'll take both. If you hate us, we'll work on it. If you love us, we'll keep doing it. But it takes
I ain't no simp. If you hate me, I'm going to say, get that now.
But it takes you guys to let us know. So subscribe, like, comment, share, help us out. We all try to do our parts, sharing the content. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. Hopefully we'll branch out and hit some other places. All my socials, wherever my socials are, on X or Instagram, they'll always be linked to the Squared Ring podcast, because I share every episode on every social media account that I have. So anything to get the word out, and hopefully you guys will help us out there too. But like I said, on a recap, remember this show is this Friday. Everything else is the same. Doors open at 6, start times at 7. This whole card is like unbelievable matches. Everyone's coming back. Gil Rogers, Axe, Bull Bronson, Attila Khan is coming. Steve Fender to take on Bobby for the belt. We got the return of Peyton, trying to get my belt again. And then hopefully the Top Guns can get it done and get those belts back from the LA Hustlers. So like I said, the whole card is stacked. Just remember, it's this Friday with the free TV tapings on Saturday with your paid stub from Friday night show. Other than that, Bobby, you got anything going on this week?
Wrestling.
Just wrestling.
Wrestling.
I think we're all in the same boat. We just got wrestling. So if you guys, Nate is always running around through the show, filming, and I think he's going to bring in a sidekick that's going to do some Roman recording as well. So we'll maybe we'll have him on a small segment next week, or maybe just to introduce him. So we got a little Roman recorder as well going on. So hopefully you'll like the come forward, because we'll have Nate's widescreen version of it, and then we'll mix it in with a little bit of the Roman film that he's going to record. But it should be some great action, some great TV shows that we got coming up. So I think that's it. So everyone from the Squared Ring Podcast, thank you. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
See you next week. Have a good night.
Yeah.